Monster wedge! Likely tornado, likely wedge tornado this direction right here. Wait for the power flash! There's everyone's power lines down. This is I-55 backed up.
This new OBS studio.
After a wedge tornado passed through here.
Let some folks join here to the live recap here. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Storm Chaser, Aaron J. Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, with a tornado warned supercell just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So fast-moving supercell here. I have been watching radar, and it does look like there was potentially a tornado on the ground briefly a moment ago. But my plan is to track the storm just to the north towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. Jonesboro is now in the secondary tornado warning that's put down ahead of the storm, downstream a little bit, so they're anticipating the storm to continue to potentially produce a tornado as it races off to the northeast towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north. That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron J. Jack. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Damage, debris.
Can you hear me now?
Power flashes. Monster wedge. Interstate's 1.5 miles just ahead. Right over the interstate, power flash. No, it's to the northeast. Northeast of the interstate. Interstate's gonna curve. I'm still west of the Mississippi River.
What about now? Test, test, test. Can you hear me now? Test, 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 test. Oh, okay. You guys can hear me now. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to use some new tools here. I'm supposed to have this ticker. It's supposed to be moving as well. So normally I just do these live chases, or these live streams when I'm chasing or before the chase. But I figured it's such a historic event here that just happened, historic tornado. Go ahead and do a little recap, a chase recap. Also, you'll notice at the bottom, I've got a little thing here down here where you can donate to the victims of the tornado. So definitely consider doing that. I've already donated through this GoFundMe. See if I can change the color of this text. Make it stand out a little better. I don't see the color option anywhere. Okay, we'll just leave it as is. So historic night the other night. Historic tornado, devastating tornado. Hit multiple communities from northeast Arkansas through Missouri into Tennessee and then Kentucky. And it was potentially, this is one of the longest track tornadoes ever, if not the longest single track tornado on the ground for over 200 miles. Previous record was 219 miles from the 1925 tri-state tornado. And this one's going potentially up to like 250, 260 miles. So the National Weather Service is still out there doing their assessment, doing the damage surveys, looking at the tracks, they're using drones as well, and trying to figure that out. So what the rating was, the distance. So that's all still to be determined. I know that there have been some damage analysis that's been done. I've seen EF3 damage that they've said came out of Monette, Arkansas, which is near where my chase started. So this here, if you look at the screen now, the recap here, this is when I started the chase right here. We'll turn the volume up a little bit, but started the chase here near southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas. So looking at this map here. So I am right about here at this point in this video, southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas. Tornado has just gone tornado warned at this point. The storm has just gone tornado warned for the first time at this point. Storm had initially fired southwest of Little Rock, Arkansas. Continued to make its way to the northeast, moving 50 miles per hour, so a very fast moving storm. And at this point, the storm has just gotten tornado warned. I'm near Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, just to the west of Hickory Ridge. And there's this, if we zoom in a little bit more, make this a little bit bigger, you can see there's a highway that goes up all the way to Jonesboro. And I made a pass right underneath the supercell at this point right here, and it continued on. Supercell continued on at that point to the northeast. My only option was to go northeast into Jonesboro, Arkansas, to get back to the east, expecting that I would intercept it somewhere out here to the east of Jonesboro. And that's what you're just seeing now in the video. I just came through Jonesboro, and I was moving to the east now on this highway. And looking at radar at this point, I knew that there was likely a tornado on the ground, possibly a wedge tornado. And sure enough, started seeing power flashes to my east. And this is looking east now, coming out of Jonesboro, moving to the east. And this is the point where we start seeing power flashes. There's power lines that we see down on the ground, likely what was causing the power flashes I was seeing. Debris. This is the path right here. Probably the first damage path where this tornado started, that actually started impacting something other than trees and stuff, so infrastructure, homes and whatnot. And it continued to move a little bit up, closer to the storm as we got closer to Monette. And this is now the storm has just crossed the road at this point. Oop, messing up the screen here. Sorry, just trying to learn how to use this new tool. So this is looking to the north now. I'm on this highway east of Jonesboro, looking north. Storm has just gone through Monette, impacted a nursing home there. Unfortunately, I think there was at least one fatality, maybe two. It was definitely a wedge tornado at that point. I could see it lit up in the lightning flashes, the power flashes. There we saw power flashes there over the highway there. Now this is a little later in the chase. This is when the storm continued to the east towards Caruthersville, Missouri. And I'm on I-55 here now at this point, trying to catch up with this very fast moving tornado. That was one of the problems of being on the storm from the very get-go, is that especially a fast-moving tornado at night with a non-grid road network. You're going to have difficulties keeping up with it. And so I'm trying to catch up back with the tornado here at that point on I-55, before I eventually moved to the east towards Dyersburg. Now the video that's playing now is just there was a satellite tornado. I captured a satellite tornado. You can see it there on the left, the main tornado being on the right. And so eventually I got up here to the Dyersburg area. Make this a little bigger now. Got up here towards the Dyersburg area, and you can see Mayfield here. This is where the tornado started to be about peak intensity. Mayfield, Kentucky was very hard hit. It was probably the first place that was really hard hit. Monette is here, and there was damage there. But after it came through here, it was in relatively open. You see this looking at the map here. This is all like River Valley, Mississippi River Valley. So not a lot of trees and stuff, a lot of open agricultural fields and whatnot. And so it didn't do a lot of impact out in here, but eventually it got up to Caruthersville here, I-55. You're seeing images. This video now that's playing is me on I-55. Make this map a little smaller now. So this is I-55. The tornadoes come through. At this point, I've turned around. I've stopped chasing the tornado. I didn't think I'd be able to keep up with it. And I also thought that the storm was potentially dissipating or weakening a little bit. And then I noticed on radar there were multiple cells in my southwest, the main line that was tornado warned. 2 cells there coming my way. So I thought maybe I'll drop back and cover those storms. This and that when I turned around and came back, this is I-55, so it's blocked. It's real slow traffic. It's moving really slow through here. Multiple semis were hit here. You see there's a semi there that's been tossed off the road, twisted around. There's another one. It's back over here to the right of the frame right now. And unfortunately, I believe that there was a fatality from one of these 2 truck drivers here from these trucks. I saw reports of a fatality from I-55. Here's a slow-mo shot of, there's the satellite tornado is there in the center of your screen. The main wedge tornado on the right side. Jessica, it hasn't been determined if it was EF4 or EF5 yet, so they're still going through that. Do the damage survey. Still doing the damage survey. It's a 200+ mile wide damage survey, so it's going to take a while for them to go through and properly assess, you know, what the rating was. So, but again, so we'll come back here. To the map. Make this a little bigger. So this is about time I turned around in Dyersburg. I could have probably, looking back, hindsight's 20/20, but I probably could have continued on this highway right here. Can you guys see my mouse pointer, by the way, when I'm pointing at this stuff, or can you not see my mouse pointer? Let me see. I'm going to bring up another image here. I want to adjust. No, it's not working. Sorry guys, just trying to figure this new. Okay, that sucks. You can't see the mouse pointer. But I'll talk about the cities here. So you see Dyersburg there at the end of the yellow path that I took. That's where I turned around. There's a highway that continues to the northeast. You can see at the very top right corner of the screen, south of Paducah is Mayfield, Kentucky. Badly hit by the tornado. Very bad damage there. And the tornado basically tracked right along, paralleled right along that highway. And I think I probably could have caught up to it, and maybe even before it got to Mayfield, but I'm not sure. But I would have liked to have been there to start helping with search and rescue. That's why I've been upset with myself that I didn't continue on. If I could have potentially been there to help, but I thought I would be better, more useful. I wouldn't be able to keep up with it, and I'd be more useful dropping back towards, you'll see, towards Caruthersville. There's a town just to the southwest of there in Missouri called Manila. I was going to try and drop back to there to try and track down these next storms that were coming. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to them because of the I-55 being blocked from the semis I've been blown across the interstate. So I decided to go back across the river to the east, back towards Dyersburg. And then you see out of Dyersburg, moving to the southwest towards Memphis. There's a highway there that parallels the river. So I ended up getting on that highway, tracking the storms as they came to the east towards Memphis. I dropped all the way back down to Memphis to track those storms that were tornado warned when I came through Memphis. Fortunately, no more tornadoes came through this area from Dyersburg to Memphis. The storms were tornado warned, but they weren't actually producing tornadoes. So that was a relief, because obviously Memphis is a highly populated area. Let's see what else we got here. Just trying to learn how to use this new OBS studio technology here. Hold on a second. Oh, that's not gonna work. Oh, Colette, thank you for the donation, Colette. I wanna bring up the National Weather Service. Let me grab a screenshot real quick. While we're waiting, let me show you guys this too. Hold on. Browser. So here's where you can donate to the victims here. GoFundMe page. Link is at the bottom of the screen. Okay, I'll leave that up for a bit. I'm going to turn the volume up on the source that's playing here, the media source, so you guys can hear that. I'm going to show you guys the National Weather Service. I want to show the National Weather Service's their moderate risk and where the tornado actually passed through, but I have to find that graphic real quick, so we'll leave this up for a little bit. I'll turn the volume up on the replay. You guys can watch that.
Storm Chaser Aaron J. Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, with a tornado warned supercell just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So fast moving supercell here. I have been watching radar, and it does look like there was potentially a tornado on the ground briefly a moment ago, but my plan is to track the storm just to the north towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. Jonesboro is now in the secondary tornado warning that's put down ahead of the storm, downstream a little bit, so they're anticipating the storm to continue to potentially produce a tornado as it races off to the northeast towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north. That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron J. Jack. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris. Power flash.
Okay, so here's the, you're looking at now, this is the outlook that was put out by the National Weather Service. Initially in the morning, we started with just this enhanced risk. It was a little smaller of an area, 10% hatched tornado risk. And then as the day progressed, they dropped this moderate risk here. And I was in Memphis, Tennessee, just on the very extreme southeastern corner with where the moderate risk is there in Tennessee. And what I observed that day was, during the day before the event started, was the clouds, there were breaks in the clouds. It got sunny, so things warmed up. We were really starting to build that instability in, and that was one of the things that the models and the forecast wasn't sure of until the day of, is how much of that instability we would have in place. And with observations of the day of the event, it was determined by the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center that a moderate risk would be needed, and they dropped this moderate risk down. And you're looking at it now, and I just want to, I want to paint the track of the moderate risk here for you guys. I got a lot to learn with OBS Studio here.
Strong winds there all of a sudden. Oh, look at that. Likely a big wedge there. Just lit up. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Likely tornado, likely wedge tornado this direction right here. Wait for the power flash. As everyone's power lines down. This is I-55 backed up after a wedge tornado passed through here. Storm Chaser Aaron J. Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, with a tornado warned supercell just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So fast moving supercell here. I have been watching radar, and it does look like there was potentially a tornado on the ground briefly a moment ago. But my plan is to track the storm just to the north towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. Jonesboro is now in the secondary tornado warning that's put down ahead of the storm.
Okay, so here is now that moderate risk. Let's make this a little bigger. There it goes. Okay, so here is that moderate risk with the track of the tornado, approximate track of the tornado. And as you can see, this storm, it actually may be more of a northeasterly track. That's probably about right. But you can see this tornado went right through the heart of the moderate risk. So northeastern Arkansas, then through the boot heel of Missouri, clipped the northwest corner of Tennessee and then continued on into Kentucky. So, I think that goes to show how good the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center is at forecasting these events, and how it's so important to pay attention. I mean, sometimes we get these forecasts and things don't happen. They don't happen as forecast, which is, this is a evolving science that we're continuing to get better at, and sometimes things they don't work out as forecasts. Unfortunately, in this situation, the forecast was it was spot on. The biggest tornado of the event went right through the middle of that moderate risk. About 250 miles potentially is this path, and it's still being assessed right now. The damage is still being assessed for what the rating was on the tornado. And so, applause to the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center. They really nailed it, really nailed the forecast. Saved lives. There were a lot of lives lost, potentially 60 to 70 lives lost so far just in Kentucky alone. I know there were some additional lives lost in Illinois, I believe, at an Amazon facility. And then potentially some additional areas of Kentucky. I think Bowling Green was hit by a tornado. I'm not sure if there were any fatalities there, but I know I did see some video and some pictures of damage there. That's a big wedge right there, right over the road there. We just saw flashing power flashes in this video. So for those joining in, this is me driving right now, or driving early the other day on the 10th on I-55, trying to catch up with the storm. The tornado is to the east of the highway. You can see the highway curves right here back to the northwest. Let me turn the volume on here. Give you guys the live views.
Strong winds there all of a sudden. Oh, look at that. Likely a big wedge there. Just lit up. Power flashes. Monster wedge.
Okay. Just trying to wait for some
likely tornado, likely wedge tornado. This direction right here. Wait for the power. Wait for the power flash.
Oh, there are power flashes there. So this is near Manette right now. That
everyone's
right
power lines down.
Lines are near Manette. This is when the tornado first started getting going here. There's a big power line down.
This is I-55. I-55 backed up.
Does anyone have, I'm looking at chat, does anyone have any questions they might have for me? Like what was going through my thoughts, or maybe what was going on? I started the chase basically in Jonesboro. Let's see here. So make this map bigger. So I started this chase basically in Jonesboro. I started in Memphis and then I moved to the northwest. Looking at the models, it looked like Jonesboro area would be a good place to start. And eventually, so I got to Jonesboro when the storm was not severe warned or tornado warned. It was still making its way to the northeast out of the Little Rock area. And I stopped in Jonesboro probably about, it was still daylight, so probably about 4 to 4:30 p.m. I knew it was going to be a long night, so I wanted to get food, so I stopped to get food. Killian, I thought there might be a chance for a really potent, the ingredients there were in place for a potent storm. What I wasn't expecting was such a long-tracked tornado. In fact, one of the mistakes I made during the chase was when I decided to stop chasing the storm. The storm on radar didn't look that impressive to me, and I thought it might be done. And so, and then I saw the storms back to my southwest that were tornado warned. And I think what happened was I was using a radar station further back to the west where I had first started the chase, which didn't have quite as good a view of the storm. So to me, it looked like it was starting to dissipate. And then I saw those storms in my southwest, so I decided to make my way back to the southwest. But and one of the things that happened was that, you know, I mean, it was already on the ground at that point from Jonesboro to Dyersburg. I mean, that's probably, let me bring up Google Maps here and see what that distance is. Okay, so bring it up here. So okay, so Jonesboro, Arkansas, directions, driving directions. Okay, to Dyersburg, Tennessee. So that is, so following the here's the path I took. So that is 102 miles, an hour and 47-minute drive. So from the time that the tornado first dropped out of the storm, southeast of Jonesboro, until the time that I decided to drop off the storm and drop back to the southwest, that was an hour. That's an hour and 47-minute drive. That's 102 miles there. The storm was already producing a tornado for 102 miles. And then, you know, looking at radar when I thought it was dissipating, to me, I had never been on a storm that had traveled that had a tornado producing for that long, and being able to keep up with it and chase it. So kind of what was going in the back of my mind was that surely this storm is done producing a tornado. Surely it's not going to keep going, and radar kind of looks like that's the case. That's what's happening. But little did I know that, you know, that was just basically the start of the storm. That was only half its path, and in fact, it was the most intense and the most damaging after I dropped off the tornado. So that kind of, you know, I wasn't expecting such a long. I mean, who was? Is it the record for the tri-state tornado is 1925, 219 miles. So it's been almost 100 years since we've had a tornado that last record was. We've had some long track tornadoes before, like 2011, I believe, the Tuscaloosa, Birmingham tornado traveled close to 200 miles, like 190, 180 miles or something like that. In March 25th, 2021, I chased a tornado in Alabama, and that had a path of about 87 miles, and that seemed really long. So this was kind of getting to where, you know, my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, this storm's done, right? It can't keep producing and going on. But no, it did. It went on further. It caused terrible damage, deaths. It was a really crappy night. Yeah, it was moving. Mustang Dave, I see here, said it was moving fast. It was hard to keep up with. Yeah, it was really hard to keep up with. It was dark, so you can't. I'm relying on radar and lightning flashes to see where the tornado is at. Power flashes to know when it's impacting structures or potentially impacting structures. So, not an easy chase by any means. The only thing that really helped out with being able to keep up with it was the fact that it was in that Mississippi River Valley, which is fairly flat, fairly treeless, but not good road network. You don't have that grid like you have out in Kansas or Oklahoma. You've got the river there, so a lot of these roads are paralleling the river from, they follow the parallel of the river. And then also there's only so many places that you can cross the river. So that was what kind of made me lose the storm finally. I was keeping up with it within a few miles of the tornado for that hour and 47, that 102 miles that I traveled. I was keeping up with it for the most part. And then I got to Dyersburg. I got to the river, I-55, I-155, then the Mississippi River. And to be able to keep up with the storm, I had to lose contact with it down to the southeast towards Dyersburg. And I thought that making that turn to the southeast with such a fast-moving storm, that there was no way I was going to be able to keep up with the tornado at that point. So I stopped. That's why I stopped the chase. I'm like, okay, there's more storms in my southwest that are tornado warned. Instead of trying to catch up with this thing, which I may never catch up with, my services might be more useful dropping back to the southwest and starting to cover these additional storms that were making my way. Universal Games, it hasn't been, they haven't finished the surveys yet. All I've seen so far is EF3 damage. I'm pretty certain there'll be EF4, high-end EF4 damage. Probably there will be EF5 damage. So it's going to take them a while to determine that. They don't just give out these EF5 ratings, very easily. So. What else? What other questions do you guys have for me? Yeah, I am looking at Iowa, Nebraska on Wednesday. One of the limiting factors with that setup looks like is the instability of the Cape values. But again, in this time of year, you can get the high shear. So, and other factors that the cold air, really cold air aloft. So, increasing that buoyancy, similar to what we just had. It wasn't now the December 10th setup was, I think we had somewhere around 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of Cape values, but again, not incredibly high. 1,000 joules is on probably the lower end of one of your typical May severe weather setups. Lower to middle. Generally, you want at least around 1,000 joules plus of instability for severe weather to really come together. But when you have such high shear and an environment with really cold air aloft, then you can still get these big tornadoes. And in fact, sometimes too much Cape is a bad thing, and for the storms to be able to form and keep their a good thing in the sense that the storm might kill itself off with too much convection, for example, too much rain, too much choking itself out. But in this case, we had this big open warm sector, and this supercell just marched through that open warm sector, just unimpeded, munching away on that environment. And it was just the perfect combination of ingredients for it to continue to progress to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. Doesn't even look like it ever cycled. So it was just one continuous mesocyclone and tornado for that 200 plus miles. Normally you get these storms that cycle, so it'll form a hook, a tornado potentially forms, and eventually that hook moves into the rain part of the core of the storm, and then a new mesocyclone forms on the flanking line, and then potentially new tornado forms. And you'll see these paths where it kind of arcs, this tornado path arcs, and then it dies, and then another one forms, and it arcs. And in this case, it was just one straight shot, one line, one tornado path. Really, unreal storm. Yeah, the last EF5 was 2013 war tornado. Sorry, I'm just looking at the comments here to see what you guys are saying. Yeah, Achillean, I see you saying something that monstrous in December. It doesn't make any sense. Really, you can get tornadoes any time of the year, in any location. Now the ingredients for tornadoes that come together are definitely, it's more conducive. They come together more often in those spring severe weather months, April, May, June, March as well. Starting off in the southeast states, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Earlier in the spring, late winter, you start getting those events happening down there. But really, any time of the year, in any location. Last year, one of the first severe weather setups of the year in 2021 was I believe it was in March or February, and it was in Minnesota, and there was still snow on the ground, and the lakes were still frozen over, and then I was seeing images of these giant wall clouds over frozen lakes. So. Again, and on Wednesday, potentially Minnesota is in the warm sector here again. So really those tornadoes can happen anywhere, any time of the month. And in fact, I remember I didn't chase it, but I was in Texas at the time. It was the day after Christmas, December 26th, I think 2016 or so. And I chose not to chase it. I should have chased it, but I had Christmas stuff going on, and I decided not to chase it. and ended up producing an EF4 tornado that ripped right through Dallas. So any time of the year, anywhere, these tornadoes can form. This storm, Journey Through the Gate Paranormal Portal Podcast. So the storm was on the ground upwards of somewhere between 4 to 7 hours, I think it ended up being. I was on it for 2.5 hours total. And then it continued on for another couple of hours, at least another couple of hours, maybe another 3 or 4 hours. So, I mean, just ridiculous that a supercell could continue on like that. Potentially, I think I saw someone say it was, I got distracted by chasing other storms. I haven't gone back and looked, but I think it continued on, and maybe it was on the ground, producing a tornado for up to 7 hours. So.
And I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north. That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron J-Jack.
I'm going to be right back. I'm going to fill my coffee cup up, and I'll be right back, and we'll continue the discussion. I'm going to let this play in the background.
Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Interstate's 1.5 miles just ahead. Right over the interstate. Power flash. No, it's to the northeast. Northeast of the interstate. Interstate's gonna curve. I'm still west of the Mississippi River. I gotta get across the river still. Strong winds there all of a sudden. Oh, look at that. Likely a big wedge there. Just lit up. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Likely tornado, likely wedge tornado this direction right here. Wait for the power flash. Everyone's power lines down.
Okay, I'm back with my coffee here. Sorry about that. Still a little sleep deprived from the chase. I'm gonna pull up some more some frame grabs I've done here. I've also reached out to Michael Gordon. He's a storm chaser. He had an incredible shot of the storm. He just gave me permission to bring up his image here, so I'm gonna bring up his image. Hold on one second. Just gonna thank him on Twitter. Michael Gordon image. Okay, let's bring this thing up. This is an impressive image here. So Michael Gordon is a storm chaser, and he was on I-155 and I-155. Okay, let me get this image up. Okay, Michael Jordan image. Okay. So here is the mesocyclone with the tornado. Oh, at this point, Michael is on... I'm trying to make it bigger, sorry. Why is this not working? Well, we'll just do it like this. So this is an image from Michael Gordon. He has captured this image. This is on, I believe, I-55, looking to the southwest. And what you see here is a giant mesocyclone, giant collar cloud on the left. This is the whole thing here now isn't the tornado, but the tornado is on the right, just behind the tree there. And if you watch the video, there's a power flash. It kind of lights up the tornado and shows you where it's at. But just a giant mesocyclone, collar cloud, and then this terrible, violent tornado extending from the bottom of it all the way down to the ground. And so Michael intercepted this on, he turns around at this point, I believe, and goes back to the north. So if we bring up this map here. So I-55, you see I-55 there, Caruthersville. He's just to the west of Caruthersville when he shoots this video. I-55 is you can see 55 is lit up. It moves, and highlighted in yellow, it moves southwest to northeast. And then the road that goes down to the southeast towards Dyersburg, that's I-155. So Michael's on I-55 when this shot is taken, moves to the north, and comes back down to the southeast on 155. And he gets just an incredible video of it. Let me bring up that image as well. So he's on 155. Okay, let me bring up this one here. And he very close intercept of it too. He did a great job chasing. Okay. Let me bring this one up now instead. So here is Michael's shot. This is I-155. The tornado is there on the left. That's the left edge of the tornado. It's just crossed I-155 here at this point. And it's just this monstrous tornado. It moves off to the east towards the Missouri River. And just, I mean, this is the stuff that nightmares are made of right there. Ridiculous tornado. I want to thank Mike. You can follow Michael on Twitter, and he's also got a YouTube channel. Michael's Twitter account is @, capital W, capital X, _ capital MAN, capital MIKE. So @Weatherman Mike. And he also has a YouTube channel. You can search for him on YouTube. I think you can find it under Paramount Weather. Let me go to his YouTube channel here real quick. his channel name. Oh, he doesn't have his own channel. So, but you can follow him on Twitter. Let me put his Twitter account up on the screen here real quick. So there's his account name on Twitter. It's at WX_man Mike. So he did a great job chasing there, capturing that shot of the tornado. So give him a follow on Twitter. You can see his video there. If you're watching, Mike, great job, great chase. Incredible work out there. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the volume back up on my video that's playing here, and I want to bring up some still images I grabbed, some frame grabs I grabbed of the storm here.
Storm chaser Aaron J. Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, with a tornado warned supercell just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So fast moving supercell here. I have been watching radar, and it does look like there was potentially a tornado on the ground briefly a moment ago, but my plan is to track the storm just to the north towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. Jonesboro is now in the secondary tornado warning that's put down ahead of the storm, downstream a little bit, so they're anticipating the storm to continue to potentially produce a tornado as it races off to the...
So here's a frame grab from one of my videos. This is when I was on I-55 moving north, trying to catch up with the tornado. So weatherman Michael Gordon, he's on the other side of this tornado for me right now at this point. I'm probably looking at this screenshot, I'm probably about 3 to 4 miles away from the tornado. Well, that's the tornado in the very center of your screen there. You can see there's a semi coming my way on the right with his headlights. Now, tornado is just to the left of that semi. You can see the mesocyclone wall cloud there. And at this point, I'm trying to see if I don't see the satellite tornado at this point. Okay, so we got that image. Let me bring up another one here.
Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damn it.
Here we've got another shot. Here's another frame grab. I was a little bit closer to the tornado now at this point, catching up to it. Again, tornado's just right of center there, extending down to the ground. Lightning has lit up the scene here, allowing me to capture the tornado. Just a nightmarish scenario. Okay. And let me bring another one up here.
Right over the interstate, power flash. No, it's to the northeast. Northeast of the interstate.
Here's another frame grab. Maybe this is the satellite. It's hard to tell what's going on here at night, but kind of a conical feature there. Maybe that's the satellite tornado. It could just be some scud. But this is, now again, this is somewhere approaching the Mississippi River. Let's see here, let's find another one. Got some better ones here. I already showed you that one. This is a power flash, an orange power flash. This is near Manette. So early on in the chase, I was looking at the storm. It just crosses highway I'm on right here. Forget what highway. It's the highway that's east of Jonesboro that runs to Manette. So this highway runs east, then it makes a 90-degree turn to the north towards Manette, which before then turning back to the east. So this was one of the more difficult places I had to chase just because of the way that the road network changed. In fact, I was a little concerned about driving into the tornado around this point. So it was a lot of situational awareness needed here, looking at radar, trying to figure out where the tornado was at, make sure I didn't drive into it. That is a power flash. Let me see if I can find the video associated with that power flash, and we'll watch it.
Storm Chaser Aaron Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, with a tornado warned supercell just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So fast moving supercell here. I have been watching radar, and it does look like there was potentially a tornado on the ground briefly a moment ago. But my plan is to track the storm just to the north towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. Jonesboro is now in the secondary tornado warning that's put down ahead of the storm, downstream a little bit, so they're anticipating the storm to continue to potentially produce a tornado as it races off to the northeast towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north. That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron Jack. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Interstate's 1.5 miles just ahead. Right over the interstate, power flash. No, it's to the northeast. Northeast of the interstate. Interstate's gonna curve. I'm still west of the Mississippi River. I gotta get across the river still. Strong winds there all of a sudden. Out of the, oh, look at that. Likely a big wedge there. Just lit up. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Likely tornado, likely wedge tornado this direction right here. Wait for the power flash. There's everyone's power lines down. This is I-55 backed up after a wedge tornado passed through here. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris. Debris here, damage here. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris.
Okay, I think this is the right video I've been wanting to show you guys, but I think it's a couple minutes in before we actually see anything here. But let's see. Let's let this play. Let it play raw. Okay, here we go. Maybe. Oh, I think it's because it's I know what the problem is. Hold on. I know what the problem is. It's a 4K video and it doesn't fit the resolution. So hold on a second. We're gonna go back to the other video, let it play. I'm gonna have to export out a smaller version of it. Here, hold on.
Storm Chaser, Aaron J. Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas with a tornado warned supercell just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So fast moving supercell here. I have been watching radar and it does look like there was potentially a tornado on the ground briefly a moment ago, but my plan is to track the storm just to the north towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. Jonesboro is now in the secondary tornado warning that's put down ahead of the storm, downstream a little bit, so they're anticipating the storm to continue to potentially produce a tornado as it races off to the northeast towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north. That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron J. Jack. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris. flashes. Monster wedge. Interstate's 1.5 miles just ahead.
Okay, the video is exporting now, and it'll just be a couple of seconds. Let's see, I'm going to check the comments here, see if you guys had anything.
No, it's to the northeast.
Okay. Yeah, I agree, it's obvious. There's at least an EF4. Just looking for comments here, see if you guys have any or questions. By the way, I want to thank all my supporters, all my channel members. You see like Ranger Flash, Achillean, Mama of Six, Jessica. Those are some of the channel members that are online right now. They have a green name because they're members. Members get perks for joining the channel. So thank you, members, for your support. You guys help me be able to get out there and chase these things, and it's, you know, it gets a little lonely sometimes on the road, so it's nice to kind of have this little YouTube family out there riding around with me. Okay, let me see if this thing is finished exporting. Looks like we're done exporting. So let me pull it in now. Just 1 second. Okay, so here we go. So
Debris here, damage here.
Bigger. Turn the volume down on it a little bit. So this is just raw, uncut footage here now. This is the chase. This is east of Jonesboro. I'm near Monette, Arkansas at this point. Tornado's either just hit Monette or is about to hit Monette. Just crossed this highway that I'm on. I'm driving down the highway. There's the storm right there, just lit up in the lightning. And at this point, I still haven't really made visual confirmation of whether it's what the storm is. Is it a big wedge tornado or not on the ground? Looking at radar, I was like, oh yeah, there's a big wedge on the ground. But just shortly in this video here soon is when I finally make confirmation. I ran into my good friend storm chaser Reed Timmer. We were right near each other chasing it, and we ended up he's just behind me here. At this point, I just stopped. Looking at radar, and I'm like, okay, the tornado has got to be just to my north right here. I'm watching the power flashes, watching for the lightning to see if I can see it.
Oh, look at that.
There it is. There you can see the wedge.
Likely a big wedge there. Just lit up. Reed!
Hey, Craig. Man, I don't think it's cycled. There's a power flash.
Monster wedge!
Gonna see the orange power flash here in a minute that I just showed the image of.
Likely tornado, likely wedge tornado this direction right here. Wait for the power flash.
Another power flash.
Likely wedge tornado there, just to my north. This is to my north, looking north.
There's the orange power flash. So this might be when the storm is unfortunately going through Monette.
Gotta get back on this. Hey!
video is just about to come to an end.
He's throwing tons of power flashes right up the highway from it. Yeah, I just caught the right edge of it. Big wedge. I wonder if we can get around to it over here. Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah, let's go.
So that was the end. That was that video. I'll play another one here. Actually, I can't because I have to export it first. I'm gonna put the original video back on, and I have to take a quick break here. I'll be right back.
Just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So fast moving supercell here. I have been watching radar, and it does look like there was potentially a tornado on the ground briefly a moment ago. But my plan is to track the storm just to the north towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. Jonesboro is now in the secondary tornado warning that's put down ahead of the storm, downstream a little bit, so they're anticipating the storm to continue to potentially produce a tornado as it races off to the northeast towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north. That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron Jack. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Interstate's 1.5 miles just ahead. Right over the interstate, power flash. No, it's to the northeast. Northeast of the interstate.
All right, guys, I'm back. I just had to take a quick break, a quick restroom break. Drinking too much coffee here. So what do you guys got? You got any questions for me? Any more questions? See if I can look back in the chat. Actually, here, I want to highlight again how good of a job the National Weather Service did with their forecasting. Let's bring up their map. Moderate risk was in place, and the path of the tornado right through the heart of that moderate risk. So everyone should be grateful that our tax dollars go to a service like this, National Weather Service, invaluable resource, providing warnings out there. It's important that, you know, if you're not very weather savvy, to, you know, heed the warnings that the National Weather Service is giving out. Keep your phones on if you're in the path of one of these events. Get my radar weather app so you can get alerts when potentially a day, because the National Weather Service is only going to give out warnings through phones when you're actually in a warning box. But apps like the My Radar weather app will let you know when you're in a tornado watch, for example, or even if you're just in the, if you're in a moderate or an enhanced risk that day. So you'll get alerts all along the path of the event there. When you're in an outlook like this, a moderate or enhanced, when you're actually in a tornado watch, and then especially when you're in a tornado warning. So if you're not weather savvy, you're not able to forecast yourself, there are tools out there to keep yourself and your family safe. So it's very important to be paying attention to the weather. I know most people don't really care about the weather unless, is it going to affect something that they want to do that day. But the National Weather Service, they're the best in the business, very intelligent minds. I mean, they're outstanding. I'm very grateful that they're there to get these warnings out to the public. Again, though, for those that are just joining, we've got this map here. This shows my path, my chase route. I started near Jonesboro, Arkansas, to the southwest of Jonesboro. Tracked the storm to the northeast through Jonesboro. This path is about 200 miles right here, 100 miles right here that we're looking at. 102 miles, I think it was. An hour and 47-minute drive if you're just driving normal and not stopping. And this just represents half of the path of the tornado. Let me see if I can take this graph. Well, maybe not. I was going to see if I could draw the path on this graphic here, but the tornado continued on here to the northeast through Dyersburg, to the north of Dyersburg. It didn't come through Dyersburg. It went through Caruthersville there, but this yellow path is my route. This is not the path of the tornado. This is the path that I took to try and keep up with the tornado. The tornado has a linear path from southwest to northeast, intersecting my highlighted path here multiple times. There's multiple times I came across down power lines. I saw at one point a semi that had, he wasn't tipped over or anything, but it looks like he had been blown off the road onto the side of the road, kind of in a ditch, but he was all right. He was standing outside of his semi when I came driving by and just watching the storm, like he was, in shock of what had just happened, but it seemed like he was physically all right. And then I came across close to the river and west of I-55. I came across a car. It was stopped in the road, and its front end had been somewhat damaged, or someone else stopped with them, checking on them that they were okay. But the front of the car had been somewhat damaged by the tornado. Power lines were down across the road there, and I continued to the east there, approaching I-55, approaching I-155 in the river. I continued to chase the storm up until Dyersburg. Yeah, my route, so for those that were watching me live, I stopped in Jonesboro there and got dinner before the storm made it up to the Jonesboro location, maybe an hour or two before that. Then I dropped to the southwest towards McCrory, MCRORY, McCrory, Arkansas. And then it came, I never made it all the way to McCrory. I stopped short of McCrory. I got to like Hickory Ridge. I think it's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas. And that's where basically my contact with this storm started. It was about 12 miles to my west in Hickory. I waited for it to approach this highway that you see coming to the southwest out of Jonesboro. I waited for it to approach that highway. And then I made an intercept of the base. The storm went right over me, right over the top of me. I continued north into the core of the storm. I continued to the north. My only option was I could go south and lose contact with the storm, and then east to the interstate system, or try to keep up with the storm by going north through the core of the storm and then cutting to the east in Jonesboro. And that's what I ended up doing. My thought was I'll have to punch through the core and then move east through Jonesboro, eventually make an intercept of it east of Jonesboro as it crossed that highway east of Jonesboro. Funny thing is actually when I came to Jonesboro a couple hours before that, I was on that highway, and I remember thinking, like, this is my east option that I'm likely going to end up taking later tonight to keep up with the storm. Or sure enough, that's exactly what happened. It came, and I got on that highway. I saw the power flashes over the highway as it moved northeast across that highway towards Manette, Arkansas. Continued to the east, and the highway turns to the north, and you can see the little jog. I'm going to put this up. So if you look east of Jonesboro, where there's a river east of Jonesboro, you can see the river, and then the road turns real sharp, 90 degrees to the north, and then back 90 degrees to the east. So Monette, Arkansas is right there at that location. So I saw the power flashes as it came through there, across the highway there. Yeah, I was on some really small roads. That was near Blytheville, somewhere between Blytheville and probably, well, let me see. I'm looking at the map. That was probably near Blytheville, somewhere near Blytheville. Yeah, probably west. I'm looking at the map now. So that's I-55 that runs just south of Blytheville to the northeast towards Caruthersville. So that was near Blytheville when I was on these little dinky roads trying to keep up with the storm. That was an answer to the question. J. Thomas Reset asked that question. He says, you took a left turn on some skinny roads. Where was that? So that was near Blytheville. Shrink this down again. Okay, let me, I'm going to pull up, I'm going to put the replay back that I got going and then look for export it out another video for you guys.
Storm Chaser, Aaron J. Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas with a tornado warned supercell just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour, so fast moving supercell here. I have been watching radar and it does look like there was potentially a tornado on the ground briefly a moment ago, but my plan is to track the storm just to the north towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. Jonesboro is now in the secondary tornado warning that's put down ahead of the storm, downstream a little bit, so they're anticipating the storm to continue to potentially produce a tornado as it races off to the northeast towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north. That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron J. Jack. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Interstate's 1.5 miles just ahead. Right over the interstate, power flash. No, it's to the northeast. Northeast of the interstate. Interstate's gonna curve. I'm still west of the Mississippi River. I gotta get across the river still. Strong winds there all of a sudden. Oh, look at that. Likely a big wedge there. Just lit up. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Likely tornado, likely wedge tornado this direction right here. Wait for the power flash. As everyone's power lines down. This is I-55 backed up after a wedge tornado passed through here.
All right, guys, this is another just raw shot here, raw video, unedited of me just east of Jonesboro trying to catch up with the tornado. Looking at radar, there's a big wedge flash right there. So I'll let you guys watch this raw.
Likely tornado just off to my northeast here. You can see the dark area where likely the tornado is. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. I see emergency lights up here, law enforcement lights up here, likely where the tornado crossed. Tornado will be just to my northeast now, north of the road. Need to blast east and then north again. In the clear area here now, looking for a tornado off to the left. Okay, we're headed right at it now. Headed right at the possible tornado. Storm Chaser, Aaron J. Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas with a tornado. The northeast towards Jonesboro, Arkansas, and I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron Jack. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Frequent power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris. Power flashes. Monster wedge. Interstate's 1.5 miles just ahead.
Oops, sorry about that, guys. So I was trying to say, someone was asking where I was at when I was watching that, when I was on the skinny road. So this is the skinny road. Sorry, just trying to learn this software. A little mistake there. Technical difficulties. This is a live show, so bear with me. But this is that skinny road near what was it? Byersville? I forget now what it was. Let me bring up my path. So this is near Blythesville. So this is that skinny road. Someone was asking me where was I at in that skinny road. I believe it was Blythesville, and this is video. I was basically all by myself out here in the middle of nowhere. Try to catch up with this nightmare monster wedge. And you can see it in the lightning. It's flashing just ahead of me. Occasionally you'll catch a glimpse of it. But I'll go ahead. I'm gonna rewind the video here. I just figured out I can rewind video, so I'm gonna rewind the video here, and we'll start it from the beginning. And then I'll let you guys just watch it, and I'll shut up. So.
Mississippi River is just to my right here, just to the east. Tornado is about to cross the river if it didn't already cross it. About to cross the Mississippi River into Missouri on the heels of this tornado. Luckily, thankfully, I haven't found any damaged homes or anything. Keep being afraid I'm gonna find that.
I was muted. So that video is from before I made it to I-55 in the Mississippi River. I was winding through some very rural roads. I was basically by myself out there, winding around, trying to find this monster in the dark. And occasionally you can see the light flashes, lightning flashing and lighting up where the tornado is at. But really difficult chase, trying to chase through that area. Bad road network. Nighttime, obviously, and a fast-moving tornado. I mean, the storm and the tornado is moving northeast at 50 miles per hour, so just racing off to the northeast. One of the comments I saw, I saw Jessica Blueheart said, let's see, where's the comment at? I wonder why we couldn't see this that day when it was a live stream. Like, why couldn't he have turned the cam that direction? So a couple of problems when you're live streaming. Number one is I'm streaming at a really low resolution on cellular networks, so you're not going to have the highest quality video out there. It's going to be a little bit harder to see things. I'm also trying to drive, and the live streams are just a fixed camera on my windshield. They're mounted to the windshield. So, I mean, in that situation, it's low priority for me to worry about where the camera is exactly focused at. I mean, I'm trying to drive through at night, trying to keep situational awareness of where the tornado is at, trying to look at navigation, trying to pay attention to the road. I mean, there's a lot going on. So, I mean, you just gotta understand when I'm out there live streaming. I mean, it's there's a lot more important priorities out there than is do I have a perfect shot of the tornado or not? Let's see, I saw another question here I wanted to respond to. Where is it at? Oh, Richard Bauer says, Aaron, how do you keep your bearings and safe exit on these roads when you have been traveling for so long? It comes with a lot of experience. I mean, when I'm out there chasing a storm, I'm looking at radar, so I can see where the storm is at. During the day, I am using radar a lot less. So during the day, I can see the storm, I can see the structure, so I'm able to just based on experience, know where I'm at. I've got in my mind a map, I can visualize in my head when I'm out there driving, where's the storm at in relation to me, where is it safe, where is it not safe, where do I need to get to be able to intercept the storm, etc. Now that skill and that experience comes even to more play, it's even more useful in these nocturnal situations where I have a lot less information to try and, keep my situational awareness. I have radar like I normally do, but I have only glances of the storm with lightning to be able to pick up structure in the storm, to understand where the tornado might be. So it's a very, I go back, I have to rely on my instinct, my experience, keep myself out of harm's way. And it got a little, the hardest part, the time I had out there was when I got to that area near Manette, when the road starts turning to the north and then back to the east. I mean, there were times there where I was a little concerned that, I had to be a little bit more careful about my progression forward, that I didn't drive right into the tornado. So, I mean, that's basically, kind of sums up how I'm doing it out there, is that I have a visual in my mind of where I'm at in relation to the storm, and the combination of looking at radar, looking at navigational maps, and looking at the storm structure and experience kind of just pulls that all together and allows me to keep up with these storms and keep myself in a safe location. I'm just glancing through questions here. So Aaron Guerrero says, do you ever clear, I think you mean fear of being trapped in the storm? And he just deleted that comment, maybe to fix the typos. One of the things I had, the only time I was a little concerned, and I wasn't too concerned, but so I-55 the tornado had already crossed I-55. It had blown some semis off the road, damaged them, partially blocking the highway, the interstate, and traffic was moving really, really slow down I-55 to the south. And to my southwest was another line with 2 tornado warning supercells coming towards my location. And I did not want to be on I-55 in that case, because I was afraid of being trapped in that line of traffic and then not being able to have basically no escape route at that point. If traffic's moving really slow on I-55 and the tornado's coming right, at my location, there's nowhere to run. So I decided not to take I-55. I backtracked back to the north and the northeast, and I got on I-155, dropped to the southeast towards Dyersburg, and I decided to stay east of the river and use the highway that came out of Dyersburg to the southwest towards Memphis. And that was specifically because I did not want to be trapped in that traffic and then get steamrolled by another tornado. So Colette says, Aaron, what do you think about the rest of winter with tornadoes? Looks like it's going to be warmer than usual around here. My horse's coats aren't nowhere near as thick as they usually are. Yeah, so far, I mean, we've had a rather unseasonably warm winter so far. November was really, really slow for both winter storms and severe weather. There wasn't any. I think there was one event of severe weather into the northeast, but it wasn't really forecast much in advance. It was like a day of thing that came together. And then the rest of November was really slow. December started off kind of slow. Again, it's been on the warm side through November into December. Usually by this time of the year, I've been ice fishing a few times, and I haven't been yet. I haven't had a chance to go ice fishing yet because it hasn't been cold enough to make the ice safe enough. So we have another potential for severe weather on Wednesday. And again, another warm sector that's really far north, Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota potentially. So I'm watching that to see if that comes together. One of the problems is that it looks like the instability, problems for storms to be able to form, is that there's instability issues, not enough instability. But we'll see how that comes together. But if we continue to have an unseasonably warm winter, then the pattern is right, and right now the pattern is ripe for bringing in these troughs that can produce these severe weather outbreaks. So I mean, I'm expecting a busy early severe season, in January, February, March in the southeast states. and then we'll roll into April and May, and every April and May is going to have severe weather. It just depends on how much you have. But every year you're going to get that severe weather in April and May as the sun begins to shift back to the north, warm up the atmosphere, warm up the earth, and the pattern comes together. That severe weather pattern in April and May comes together. I see Dog RV. Was the tornado that you were chasing the same one that hit Kentucky? Yeah, that was definitely, it was the same storm. It traveled, I chased it for about 100 miles from Jonesboro, Arkansas to the northeast towards Dyersburg, Tennessee, and then it eventually continued on into Mayfield, Kentucky. So it absolutely was the same storm. I chased it for about at least probably about half of its lifespan. So yeah, that was an unbelievable path for how long it traveled. Let's see what other questions we got here. So what I do want to again call out, if you notice the ticker down below me here, consider donating to victims. There's a GoFundMe that's been set up. I've already donated to it as well. So if you have the means, please donate to the Kentucky victims. I'm sure they could use it. It's one of the worst things about these wintertime severe weather outbreaks is that, in the spring, if your house gets damaged by a tornado, it's still relatively warm at night, during the day. And now we're in the winter months, and these people that lost their homes or their homes are damaged, it's cold at night, potentially getting snow. And they're not getting snow in Kentucky, but it is cold, and it just exacerbates the problems. So I think I see people saying, like, why did the tornado turn to the southeast when it crossed the river? So if you're thinking that because of this graphic I have up here, this is not the path of the tornado. This is the path that I took to chase the tornado. I'll bring up this other image. No, not that one. Let's see if I can find it. So here is more of the path that the tornado took. So a much more linear path overlaid on the National Weather Service's moderate risk. So if we look at that, you can see it took a much more linear path. It never made any turns like that. But because of the road network, because of the river, I made that turn back to the southeast near Caruthersville towards Dyersburg, because that was the only location I could cross the river at that point. Okay, I'm going to kick back on the
Storm Chaser, Aaron J. Jack, and I am here in Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, with a tornado warned supercell just to my west here, about 12 to 13 miles, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So fast moving supercell here. I have been watching radar, and it does look like there was...
I'm going to let the highlight video here run for a little bit, and then probably going to have to call this stream. I think I hear maybe my son has woken up and I need to go. He's done with his nap, so hold on one second. I'm going to let this play and I'm going to go check on him.
Downstream a little bit, so they're anticipating the storm to continue to potentially produce a tornado as it races off to the northeast towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I have a road right here back to my east that goes to the north. That's Hickory Ridge, Arkansas right here. Goes to the north towards Jonesboro, which is where I plan to try and intercept the storm here and get a look at the tornado. Again, tornado warned supercell southwest of Jonesboro, Arkansas, just northwest of Hickory Ridge, Arkansas, moving to the northeast, 50 miles per hour. For my radar, this is Storm Chaser Aaron J. Jack. Power flashes as it crossed the highway here I'm on. Liquid power flashes. Power lines are down. Debris here, damage here. Damage, debris.
All right, guys. So I am gonna have to call an end to the stream. I hope you guys, thank you guys for coming along to listen. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Might be out there chasing again on Wednesday if the severe weather comes together. Again, make sure you can, if you can, donate to the victims of Kentucky. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll get alerts when I go live on these chases in the future. You can also become a member of the channel and get special perks. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Just keep the people of Kentucky in your thoughts. Don't forget them. And hopefully we won't have another situation like that on Wednesday. But I will be out there live streaming if it comes together, trying to get those warnings out to people, trying to create awareness in the communities that potentially are in the path of any kind of severe weather. This is absolutely, chasing severe weather is my passion. I like trying to get to being out there and that ground truth and trying to get warnings out to folks, and then documenting what happens out there to try and help potentially help forecasters in the future understand what happened with the storm, make better forecasts in the future. And hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for joining. This is the first time I've done one of these OBS Studio live streams, so kind of still trying to learn the software and figure everything out, but I think it went relatively all right. So thanks, guys. Have a great day.